Well, Civil War reenacting is the attempt by individuals to recreate and experience the material culture of soldiers, both Federal and Confederate, during the United States Civil War. And that's accomplished by recreating uniforms, equipment, and the lifestyle, sort of camp life, of Civil War soldiers. That includes eating the way they did, sleeping the way they did, drilling, marching, and trying to recreate battles the way they occurred. Well, the purpose of drill now is for reenactors is the same as it was then and is in the military now, and that being to teach the soldiers discipline, to try to get them to form a bond amongst each other. That's a theoretical aspect, of course, and but when we drill using, of course, schools out of manuals from the time, schools of the soldier, of the company, of the battalion. And when we're drilling, we're trying to recreate the way that soldiers then maneuvered on the battlefield and in camp.
Model 1855 rifle musket, and it's one of the many captured things that the Confederates would make use of when they found them on the battlefield. Probably more of these weapons in Confederate hands than the Confederate-made Richmond rifle musket. Shoulder arms, about face. Again, not unusual at this point in the war. Guys used what they could find to replace items worn out in the field. About face. Backwards mark. The next soldier represents the typical infantryman of the Army of Tennessee. He's wearing a jacket that's been attributed to the Columbus, Georgia depot, which was probably second only to the Richmond, Virginia depot in the production of clothing, and is typical for the jackets worn by the AOT. He's wearing a mixture of also of captured U.S. and Confederate-made accoutrements. His weapon is typical.
The authenticity is not cheap. Getting the best stuff usually means spending a bit more money than if you were to just get something off the rack, as they say. For instance, the prices of some general items. A good weapon would be around $500. Clothing parts, jacket, trousers might be $150 to $200 each. Shoes, $150. Hat, $70, $80. And you need to get everything, which includes it will include things like a shirt, equipment, a cartridge box, belt, bayonet scabbard, bayonet, buckles, knapsacks, blankets, and any dozen other accessories, if you will. It might run, if for just a single impression, it could easily run you over $1,000 to get that together. Those of us who you might describe as hardcore or more authentic usually have a number of different impressions, which can run well into thousands of dollars.
Hi, Dorian Motivalik. I've been doing this since I was 12 years old. We're with the 6th Wisconsin, and I guess I got into it because my great-great-grandfather was in Sherman's Army. He marched up through Fayetteville, North Carolina, where he met my great-great-grandmother, and they had little babies, and that's why I'm here. And I've been doing this since I was 12 years old, and I love it to death. I'll do it till the day I die.
John Sanborn, Fayetteville, North Carolina. I'm out here enjoying this. My first experience with Dorian, reenactment of the Civil War. I've never been here. Haven't ever had a chance to enjoy all the people, a lot of fun. A lot of good music, good everything. It's a real good mood. I don't know, I'm enjoying its history. I didn't have part in it when I was younger. Take part in it now, have a chance to learn something.
Everybody should start doing this.
At least once. You've got to try it one time. You've done it once, you've done it enough. You've done it 1,000 times, you haven't done it enough.
And how long have you guys been reenacting?
Well, I've been reenacting about 9 years, Jacqueline about 1.5 years. And we really like the reenactment for the camaraderie of the North and South reenactors, as well as reenacting and creating the actual battles and history itself.
Right. And you're a chaplain.
Yes, well, after Battery Wagner in Charleston, South Carolina, in 1863, as we went to Lusty, Florida, the 54th, we had 5 men made officers. I portray Samuel Harrison. Also, I'm a chaplain and ordained minister as such.
The number one reason that I reenact is because I have been reading books and watching videos and watching films and all this other stuff over the years, and I felt like I wanted to kind of take that leap into the third dimension and see it for myself, or try to see it for myself, and try to have what some people call magic moments. When you're out on an unpaved road in some rural area of this country, whether it be Virginia or Louisiana or North Carolina or wherever, not see any modern intrusions and sort of take a step back and say, well, this is what it must have looked like to those guys.
Well, I reenact for fun. A lot of people might say that they reenact to educate the public or for some grandiose historical reasons, and that may be true in each individual case. I personally do it for fun, if you can imagine that. I suppose it comes from, you know, playing guns as a kid, always being interested in military history. I'm interested if I wasn't a reenactor, I'd spend many weekends camping out in the woods. And it's just a combination of those interests and historical interests that leads me to it. And I do it for fun. A lot of other people do it for other reasons, to honor ancestors, to preserve battlefields. But as I got a friend who will say that if you get 1,000 reenactors in a room, you'll have 1,000 different reasons of why people are reenacting. Everyone has their own reason.
Sway me this way.
Have your attention, please. Let everybody in front sit on the ground. Next group sit in chairs. Next group stand up.
Rest. Rest.
A lot of people get into reenacting because they romanticize this whole experience. And when you're romanticizing battle, you will be unwilling to really capture or even try to experience or try to portray the sheer terror of the experience of combat. I always feel terrible because I know we're never doing it right, and also because battles, there's not a lot of control over how battles. There's usually a script to the battles for spectators. The script often goes out the window, but that's the least of the problems because we don't have enough experience using tactics. The people commanding the reenactors are just as inexperienced as the reenactors doing it. Haven't spent a lot of time in the field, haven't had a real military experience, and so tactics are generally used wrong. The way people react in the field is the way individual soldiers react in the field is usually real bad. They don't react well to being shot at, about being overrun, about having to make an assault on a position. There's just so many aspects of battles that are done wrong. There's really nothing good I can say about them. I wish I could say something good. Sometimes it's good when you get thousands of men on the field to be able to look at it from a distance and imagine this is what several thousand men on the field in formation look like. But battles, the way they're done by reactors, are terrible.
Definitely not safe.
Okay, my name is Joe Slifer. I'm from Raleigh, North Carolina. I have been a reenactor now for a little over 5 years. Started off in the infantry and migrated over to the 10th North Carolina State Troops, 1st North Carolina Artillery. We're a horse-drawn unit from all over the state. We've got 22 registered Morgan horses and 4 cannons, and a lot of harness, and a lot of very, very good and dedicated men who were very happy to portray our Confederate ancestry. And also we do a federal impression of the 5th U.S. Battery D to West Point Battery. So we don't really get into the politics of the day, but we do like to accurately portray and honor the men on both sides who fought.
cornmeal.
Salted beef was almost impossible to eat. It wasn't well liked at all. A lot of soldiers had a tough time with it. Bacon would have been preferred over.
A well-rounded diet was very hard to find.
Most people were living out here on potatoes, summer potatoes, and some rice, and salted beef, pork, some Confederate flour crackers, cornmeal, pretty much it. Coffee was unheard of this time of the war.
Whatever was available in the country you're fighting in, you have to go with crops that are there. Ready? This is the first meal we've had in 3 days.
Fresh meat.
Fresh meat we've had in 3 days.
Sure.
Generally, the way those that strive for more authenticity do it are that they go into the field in what's commonly known as campaign style. This means we carry on our backs what a soldier on campaign would carry with them. We try to eat what they would eat as close as possible. We try to recreate those experiences. The mainstreamers and those that are commonly called farbs might come out and bring extra equipment that they didn't necessarily have while on campaign or any other time during the war. These folks can have less of a problem bringing coolers into camp, and they're generally pretty good at keeping that stuff hidden from the public view. But that's still that's not really recreating the experience that the Civil War soldier had. They might eat different foods that were unavailable to them. Bring a family into camp with them, which Civil War soldiers, of course, didn't have. And that would be generalizing the differences.
The camping experience is not what a lot of people really think that it is. They look at it and they think, oh, geez, we're sleeping on the ground, we're miserable, we're this, we're that. I find it actually very comfortable. It's the easiest part. It gets bad when the weather turns bad. I've been cold on a few occasions. I've been soaking wet on a few occasions. But then, to kind of reflect back on a previous question, what do I like about it? Why do I do it? It's because this is a little bit of an experience. It's the same thing that those men went through. And even though I'm doing it for a couple of days and I can go home, if I get a little bit of that experience, then I'm hopefully a much better person for it.
Here we are. It's the evening of March 18th, and I'm eating pretty much the first solid food I've had all day. I had some coffee this morning, and I've been eating this parched corn for the better part of the day. That's what I've subsisted on, so we're about ready to fix a ration of beef and some rice and some other stuff. We are in what we have dubbed Hoag's Hole. This is a defensive redan. We're on a sort of a crest of a hill, more or less facing west, and we expect to be skirmishing this evening. I would have to say that we're fairly comfortably ensconced in camp. Not nearly as cold as it was last night. We're not out in the wind or anything like that like we were last night. Hopefully, I would prefer an uneventful evening. I'd rather eat and go to sleep, but I don't think it's going to be like that. So, we'll see what we'll see. I think that's it.